friends, MM here with MM, A Surfer's Journey. I went to Alaska for the first time almost 20 years ago. Since my first trip, I've been to Alaska 15 times. Every time I went, I stayed longer. I would fish the wild river for salmon, and I would fish the open ocean for lingcod and halibut. I thought I really liked Alaska in the summer, but what I realized was that Alaska really came alive in the fall. The long days started to get shorter. The forests changed color, and the wild animals of Alaska were looking for food in preparation for winter. Moose and caribou were looking for berries and bark, while grizzly bears and wolves were looking for moose and caribou. I took every opportunity I had to explore the Alaska backcountry. I walked the banks of a lot of rivers, and I hiked the shores of massive beaches. I really loved it there. On another time, I made my way out to a beach, and I watched a pack of wolves dismantle a moose in a few minutes. Alaska was a lively place, and I knew that in order to stay alive, I really had to watch myself there. The tides here can rise 5 feet an hour for 6 hours. It can strand you on the beach when it rises. The other problem on the beaches here is the quicksand. The quicksand cannot support the weight of a tiny pebble if you toss it on top of it, while at the same time, the sand and the quicksand are indistinguishable from one another. One of the things I love about this place is the feeling of utter insignificance that you have when you're in the nature of Alaska. Everything is just gigantic. When I was there was an opportunity for me to go on a couple of glacier hikes. I went up to these glaciers by myself, finding them from maps that friends of mine had drawn for me. I was also warned to not spend too much time inside these glaciers, but when I got to them and looked inside, in spite of the fact that I was very scared, in fact, really frightened to go in, I was called to go inside of these places, and man, when I got in them, they were incredible. When I walked up to the glacier, I had already been there once before. The second time, I really wanted to go back and get inside of it. I had yet to walk inside this tiny hole that sat at the bottom of a 3,400 foot high mountain of ice. The hole at the bottom was caused by the melted glacial water that was pouring out into a riverbed. Walking up to it, I was trembling. I don't know that I have been so intimidated in my life in nature, and maybe the only thing I could compare it to would be the moment before you paddle out into really big surf. You're very intimidated. You know you want to do it. You know you have to do it. But at the same time, there's something that's telling you not to do it. You do it anyhow. That's how the glacier made me feel. I was trembling and my knees were shaking as I walked up to the hole there. And when I got to it, I took a video of myself and I left it outside on the rocks. The secret to feeling young is climbing into a cathedral of ice that's about 3 or 4 million years old. Puts everything in perspective. Because when I was standing on the rocks outside of the tunnel, I could hear the ice just groaning and moaning and moving all around me. To climb inside was an act of, well, maybe bravery, maybe a little stupidity, I'm not sure, maybe a little bit of both. But I walked inside anyhow with my camera. I turned my flash off because I was afraid of what the flash might even do to the delicate surroundings of ice. And I shot a few photographs. I stood in there for a few minutes and I felt really privileged to be in such a place. You were in a cathedral of light, of this glowing blue light that was like nothing I'd ever experienced in nature. I'd never seen any color like it before. I had never been inside a cave that was glowing blue. But when I got inside these caves, that's exactly what they did. They radiated color and light from an unknown source, and I couldn't believe it. It was so cool. As I walked out, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief, to be honest. I was glad I made it out. As I walked back to the truck, I was in this empty riverbed and I noticed a footprint. It was the footprint of a dog. And I thought, wow, that dog is really far away from home. I mean, I had been driving for a few hours to get to this place, and then I walked for a few more hours to finally confront the glacier. It was a minute later that I looked at the bank of the river and I realized it was a wolf instead of a dog's foot. And I was happy that the wolf decided that I wasn't his lunch for the day and continued to carry on without me. And today I've hiked out to this glacial field, and I don't have enough time today, but in the next few days I hope to climb inside the glacier again, and I assure you I will be sending you some interesting photographs when that happens. For now, the glacier looms behind me. I've got a long drive back to my place, so I wish you all well, and I send you a gigantic aloha from Alaska. I had never gone surfing in Alaska. In fact, I had never even seen waves in Alaska. I knew there must have been some somewhere, but I never met any surfers up there that could have shown them to me. One year in Hawaii, I saw a newspaper article about a guy that surfed in Alaska, and I wrote a letter to the newspaper editor. I explained who I was, and I explained to him that I was on a trip that was going to take me around the coastlines of the world. I also told him I would really like to start the trip in Alaska. I asked him if he could put me in touch with the surfer that he wrote the article about, and before I knew it, I was getting a phone call from that guy. The guy's name was Pete, and he was a surfer in Alaska. He surfs the boar tide there, and he also surfs the open ocean waves in the Alaskan waters. Pete invited me to come up to Alaska and surf with him, and I took him up on it. On September 1st, I flew to Alaska and met with Pete. He embodies what I think a lot of us imagine an Alaskan to look like. He has long hair and a beard. He's a big, tall, strong guy, and he looks like he fits right into the Alaska environment. Pete lived up there for a long time before he started surfing. He was a school teacher above the Arctic Circle and taught basketball to the native students there. He brought his team to a state champion, I think 3 times. He began surfing at some point and now has become quite a legend in the Alaskan waters. I think he is probably the best known surfer there. Pete had just flown in from Argentina that evening from a snowboard trip. I really couldn't believe that he was going to get up as early as he said he was going to get up, but I took the chance and headed down to the water at the time he told me to meet him. He took me immediately to an inlet where a tidal bore was pushing a 5-foot wave up the inlet. Together, he and I surfed that wave, and for the next few weeks, not only did we surf the inlet, but we surfed a lot of really good waves outside of the inlet. Hi everybody, I hope you all are well. Just wanted to send an update from Alaska to let you know that the trip has just been fantastic so far. I've been surfing inside of a tidal inlet, and yesterday we rode a wave that broke for about 5 miles inside the inlet, about 10 miles from the open ocean. We were riding this wave as a high tide moved up inside the walls of the inlet, and you have one chance to catch the one wave that breaks up through the inlet during the high tide. It was fantastic. I did it with one other guy, and we were surrounded by glaciers, and there were beluga whales swimming near us. It was awesome. Beyond surfing the tidal bore, we also surfed some open ocean waves. A couple of the waves were so good, and the locations were kept under wraps such that I was not even allowed to bring a camera on the boat. The captain was a surfer, and he allowed me to come with them, but he made me swear to secrecy, and he made me keep my camera in the truck. So, being a surfer, I hopped in, grabbed my board and suit, and went for some surf in Alaska. When I was surfing there, the waves were good, some places better than others, but one spot in particular was excellent. Hi everybody, hope everyone's doing great. Lovely day here in Alaska, air temperatures hovering right around 40, and the ocean temperatures are just a little cooler. We took a sample a minute ago and it was 39 degrees. I'm showing you that glacier behind me because I think that's doing a little bit to contribute to those cool temperatures, both in the water and the air. The wind currently is blowing right off of that glacier. Though it is an offshore wind and a good one for surfing, I have to tell you, it is really chilly. Anyhow, friends are already in the water behind me. They're getting some great waves. I'm gonna suit up and join them. While we were surfing this spot, there were chunks of ice floating in the water that were the size of ice chests. It was a pretty interesting experience. On the beach, I could see grizzly bears walking around, and behind the grizzly bears was a massive glacier that was flowing glacial water out into the ocean. We were surfing in a water temperature that was about 35 degrees. It was pretty chilly. I got a few good waves, had a really great experience, and was happy to get back on the boat and take my suit off and put some dry clothes on. I was pretty cold. Hello everybody! Just a quick message to say hi and hope that everybody is doing great. Just a little chilly out today. I think it's 39 degrees and we just got out of the water from surfing some pretty good waves that just about now are being killed by a poor tide and a strong onshore wind. I'm gonna make this quick because I'm really, really cold, but I just wanted to show you the glaciers in the background and the beauty of this area where we're surfing. It's just fantastic. It's what a place. It was a really great experience surfing there. The water is an ice blue, and much like the glaciers, it seemed to radiate a particular glow or color that I'd never really seen before. It was really nice to be surfing in that environment. A very, very different place for me. Surf trips with Pete would consist of getting up at 3:30 in the morning and driving for 300 miles to go check out a wave. We did this a couple of times. One of the times we did it, the northern lights were glowing above our heads. It was an amazing experience and I really loved it. We meet a lot of surfers in this world and a lot of them are pretty unique, but not too many are as unique as Pete. I had a great time hanging out with him and I want to thank him again for what he had done to show me such incredible surf, incredible hospitality, and great aloha in the state of Alaska.
What's up?
How's it, man?
Great day.
Beautiful day, warm,
Yep.
sunny. Terrible day to be taking off from beautiful Alaska, man. I'll tell you that much.
The waves only getting bigger.
Did you surf this morning?
No.
No? What's the report for the week?
It's 30-foot tide, so it's gonna be real big.
Oh,
Hopefully
man.
it stays sunny and nice.
Well, I hope so too, man.
Yeah.
Been great meeting you, Pete. Been great serving with you, and just want to thank you for everything you've done, man. Thanks a hell of a lot for it all, and I hope to see you again in the water real soon.
It's been a pleasure having you here, Mike. It's been real good times.
Thanks,
for
man.
coming. Yeah.
It's an absolute pleasure. We'll see you again, Pete.
Yeah.
Aloha, man.
Aloha.
Friends, I enjoy Alaska very much, and I encourage any of you, if you get the chance, to go visit. It is a place of magnificent beauty, incredible nature, really interesting and unique people, and overall, a great place to be. Hope you're all well, and aloha. Hi friends, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And for more in-depth information and stories from MM, a surfer's journey, please consider becoming a member on my Patreon page. Thanks, friends.